I believe it was 5 separate craft. That's some straight UFO shit right there.
That's when I started seeing all of the lights and the contact that I've been witnessing. I just kept filming and looking up at the sky, and it just started happening more frequently.
Look, what is that? What is that? What was that?
This is ASDP ufologist Terry Lynch from Oregon. You're watching the Mothership Alien Strand podcast with your host, Donald Ledesma.
Everybody, welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Man, I hope you guys had a really good Christmas Day, and had a nice time with y'all's families and things like that. You know, just had a lot of good food, right? And I'm sure you guys' refrigerators are still stuffed like mine is right now. Oh my God. You look inside of there and there's Tupperware everywhere. They're stacked everywhere, right? I'm sure you guys are the same thing, right? But, it was just great, man, just to be with family, right? Yeah. Come on, man. I mean, sometimes, it's good to be around family just for a little while. Just for a little while, and just until the beer kicks in, and that's it. You got to go home. Y'all, everybody go home. Send the kids home. Send the grandkids home. Send everybody home. Hey, guys, thank you for being tonight. I think Marisol's out there. Thank you. We got a lot of people out watching tonight. Yes, they're saying they're exhausted. They're full of food, it was a tiring event. I believe it. Christmas. I just, everybody just loves that day. But you know what? It's real hectic though. I mean, it's kind of, it gets you like frustrated because you got to go shopping, you're going to be running into a million people out there at the mall, and it just doesn't freaking stop, and then there's people you don't want to run into at the mall, right? And this is what it's about, right? So today you're listening live. You're live on Instagram. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Live on Spotify, Spreaker, everything. We're live on the audio podcast too. So if you guys are not watching tonight, you guys just listening, hey man, we're going to give out some information tonight, and I hope you guys learn a little bit. I just kind of threw this out on the fly because I wanted to get out to you guys and try to get some information out to you guys. It's Did you guys catch a lot of stuff? Any amazing stuff over the weekend, over the Christmas thing? Like UFOs, things like that. Hey, Merry Christmas! They're telling me Merry Christmas out there. If you want to give a shout out, I'll put you up on the screen. Ryan Keen's out there. What's up, my brother? He's saying, "What's up, Donald?" They're just out there. They're out scanning the skies, man. These are the people out there that are just constantly scanning their skies with their phones, and that's what I was going to talk about today, UAP or UFO research, because that's what it's about, and I hope you guys caught something over the weekend. I know these cool fronts kind of blew in, but down here in South Texas, I think we only hit like 70 or 65 degrees, something like that. I mean, it was 51 one of these mornings, but hey, man, it was good enough. I went and smoked a turkey in the backyard, and believe me, it was fabuloso. It was delicious. Not like fabuloso, like the stuff you put on the floor. No, but it was actually really good. So, and you know what? I'm still eating it. I'm gonna probably be eating it for about 2 weeks, because it was a big turkey just for me and the family. It's just us. So anyway, if you guys have a chance, follow us on Patreon. Go check us out there. If you know Patreon, I've already told you over and over about it. Download the app. It's a good thing, man. You can hear a lot of different things that are on there. We are not alone. Are we alone? Remember that one that's out there. We're going to have some merch coming up. I'm still waiting, man. I'm sorry. I'm still waiting. So we have the movie, The Middle, part 2. All right. It's going to be coming out. I check on it daily just to be sure it's out there, man. So be patient with me. Be patient. It's going to come out. And when it does come out, you guys are going to be the first ones to see it on Amazon Prime, man. That's where it's going to be. The film is going to be. So, and it just had a lot of things out there, a lot of good stuff about UAPs and all the phenomenon that's out there with people that are close proximity to UFOs or UAPs and what happens afterwards. Now, this Friday, don't forget, this Friday, I got an upcoming podcast with Leslie and Stephen Shaw, right? They are the authors of this book called Who Are They, right? And she reached out to me, or they reached out to me, because they've been doing this kind of research for about 20 years, man. And they wanted to kind of, tell you their insights about these pilots that pilot these ships, right? And how these ships kind of work, you know what I mean? So, and they've been gathering a lot of information about these things, right? And they're going to be on this next podcast this Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Catch it here live, even on Instagram. We're going to be live all over the place, and we're going to be live with these people. We're going to chat with them. I'm going to chat with them, interview them, and I'm sure they're going to give you a lot of good insights, not about their book as well, but about what they know. This is what it's about, right? Of course, they had their book, the authors of the book. Who are they, and what are they up to, right? And this is what we always talk about. What are these things up to, man? When they come down here to Earth and just flying around our atmosphere, and we're seeing to catch them all over the place, And man, luckily we have a bunch of cameras. All of our folks that have a bunch of cameras out there that get to catch a lot of this activity that's up in the sky. Now, of course, like I said, The Middle 2 will be on Amazon Prime. Check it out there. The Middle, it's still up. It's still up. Tubi TV, TCL, Amazon, all over the place. But I did throw it out on YouTube. Okay, I threw it out live again, so it's open again. If you guys want to check it out there on YouTube for a couple more days, check it out if you guys want to. It's free right now on YouTube. Go check it out. Give us a like, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed that film. In The Middle tetralogy, it's coming. I'm editing as we're going, man, and these films are going to be coming out. And if if you guys don't know who I am, I'm just a small independent filmmaker, and I'm making these documentaries about a lot of these folks that experience these extraterrestrial witnessing accounts and their events and what unfolds afterwards. Okay, so this is and it has a lot to do with PTSD, things like that. So please watch these films. Of course, follow us on Alien Strand Disclosure Project. That's, we are the team, because there is no I in team. All of us work together, especially like I was talking about, like Marisol, Ryan Keaton, Terry Lynch, Anibal Quinones Caballero. We're all part of this thing, Paul Welburn, Chris Hamill in Australia. We have so many people from all over the world helping with Alien Strand Disclosure Project. Now, if you can't find us, just go to Facebook and type in Alien Strand Disclosure Project. You'll see us there as we start talking about a lot of these. What we do is, if you're a learning ufologist and you're on our personal site there, it's actually not public, but it's a private group, and you guys have to to you throw your the work up there or whatever you guys catch or whatever somebody else and then we all break it down and we kind of throw our analysis on there. We put it in different spectrums and we help each other, and then we determine whether it's a UFO or it's not a UFO, right? And that's what we do as part of the Alien Strand Disclosure Project. You know, and somebody says out there that that's the one thing that would be nice to talk about. I was so traumatized, I that I couldn't sleep for these nights. I guess they're talking about the film, the middle part two, and the middle part three, and part four, which is going to have all of this. It's in there, and they're these folks. They go through a lot when they're experiencing a lot of these UFOs, UAPs, things that happen like that, right? And sometimes you have to take these steps, right? When these things happen to you now, and you kind of ask yourself, what did I just see or what did I just witness? And did I was were you able to catch it on your phone? Were you able to just, and then you go back and you look at your footage and then you try to figure out, okay, well, what is this, an airplane, is this a helicopter, what did I catch up in the sky? And a lot of times those are the questions that are actually, they're not answered for you, right? And you're trying to figure it out because either you're a studying ufologist, even people that have been in ufology for a long time, these are the steps that we take, right? Because we always, it's like the who, what, why, right? And where. So we try to figure out, okay, what am I looking at? What is this? Where did it come from? Is it ours or what is it, right? And when these things come out on camera or on film, I'm going to put some pictures up right now. In audio world, I'm throwing some recent pictures that just or coming out on the net, and these were some UFO crafts that have been spotted in these recent days, right? Maybe months. So, and I wanted to throw them out there for you guys because these are some amazing photos, right? One of them is like through a window, you're seeing this crap, and these crafts are up close. It's not like they're super far away. They're above houses, and there's even one on orb, and you can actually see a window inside of this orb, two windows actually. So, and it just gets you wondering, man. It's like, wow, what exactly am I looking at, and and how do I get this analyzed, or how do I figure out exactly what these things are, right? And that's the hardest thing to do, right? So they end up turning to a lot of these Facebook groups or people out there, maybe MUFON. It doesn't matter who you turn to, but people, we try to analyze these things and try to give you an answer. But sometimes we can give you a definite answer right then and there. Sometimes we don't, right? Uh, you know, as we were talking about before, this person says the fact that they can enter our homes without our knowledge. This is about the extraterrestrials. This happens too, as well. And you just don't know when they're standing there. And I've always talked about this, and especially in a lot of my podcasts, that me personally, I feel they're, well, we all know that they're sort of interdimensional, right? To where they can actually go beyond our our dimension where we are here and step into a different one, as far as like with the people that are on the other side, like they can be in that dimension too, and they can be in all different kinds of dimensions, right? And sometimes we're able to catch them that way with certain cameras, certain filters, and sometimes you have to use that, to your advantage. A lot of these filters, I was talking to a young woman today, and she just introduced herself to me today, and she was telling me about all the UFOs and the crafts that she was catching up in the sky. We had a really nice conversation, and she showed me a lot of conclusive videos, things and evidence like that, what she's been catching. And man, let me tell you, they were mind blowing. This is somebody that has never spoken to anybody about this before, and I'm sure she has, but nobody could understand it, right? Or, like I always say, we're wearing a tinfoil hat most of the time. A lot of people are afraid to step into this world of ufology. You know what I mean? Because it's not it's not for everybody, and it's not for everybody to understand. And that's the hardest part of it, right? Is to try to understand exactly what you're seeing up in the sky, right? And and then to get your head to wrap your mind around exactly what it is, right? And then when you start talking to people, they're just looking at you like, come on, man, where you been? Like, what you been drinking? No, man. It's like I saw something or I witnessed something, and you can see it, man. I mean, I've interviewed so many people, freaking people that they're so they're you can see it in their eyes, that they're scared of what they've seen. They don't understand what they've seen, and they you can see the confusion, right? There's a confusion there because some of them have gone through bad traumatic episodes, not just witnessing a craft, because you can witness a craft. Many people can witness a craft, but there's a lot of people that some things that come afterwards and becomes deeper and darker, right? It's not always peachy and hunky dory. And that's what I always talk about, because we're not just seeing something that's in the sky, that's floating above the clouds, or below the clouds. Something is piloting these things, right? We know this. Something is inside of this craft, UFO, UAP, whatever you want to call it, right? And that's what is the deepest and the darkest part of it, right? And there's it's kind of hard to get folks to understand exactly what they're seeing in the sky, especially with a lot of these photos, because they're genuine, right? What I'm seeing here is genuine. A lot of this is genuine. I mean, these are metallic, hard surfaced objects, right? That are floating above our skyline, floating, right? One Facebook user says out there, we didn't choose this for ourselves. They chose us. And that is a true statement. I know that's a true statement. And of course, these things are floating, like another Facebook user said, they're floating without a sound. You cannot hear nothing when these things are above you, right? Sometimes, like Terry says, you can actually hear a low hum, right? Like or like really, really deep. And this is what bothers the dog's ears. It goes the sound goes below our comprehension to what we hear on a frequency. Most dogs can hear in a really low frequency, right? And a high frequency. That's why those dog whistles, they're real high pitch. They can hear that, right? And what's to say that these things are spinning so fast and it's making this kind of whistle sound where these dogs and cats, it drives them nuts, right? I'm going to pull up another photo that just popped up today or no, yesterday. And I threw it up out there and at Alien Strand Disclosure Project. And there's a craft here that's this, and I'm going to explain this a little bit. I believe this was up in Mexico, of course. And man, they get so much activity. I'm so jealous. I wish we had that much activity. But of course, you think about this just for a minute. They have a lot of volcanoes over there, man. So they're going to catch a lot of this activity. So this is if you look at the picture in the right in audio land, there's a photo. It almost looks like a jet flying over a freeway. But once you zoom into the photo, it has this weird shape like a almost half jet, half USS Enterprise kind of look to it, right? But it's a real photo. It's not, it hasn't been manipulated in any kind of way. You could tell. The only thing I see on this photo is that there's an actual AI program out there, right? And what this AI program does is that when you don't have a straight line in a photo, it'll make a straight line for you, right? So it kind of gives you the actual look of whatever you're seeing up in the sky, right? And these crafts can I mean it probably this thing they might have not even seen it with their naked eye. It might have just they're probably just taking a picture of the freeway or whatever, and they happen to grab this. But it's an AI photograph. I've seen it on iPhones that you can download. I'm sure they have it for Android too, where it actually fixes a photo for you. It takes out all the distortions and it tries to make some kind of an image out of it, right? And when it does, it gives you these kind of shapes. So it's kind of, in a sense, it's going to be like a true shape, but not exactly true. It's going to be close. So this is pretty much what this photo is showing of this craft that's up in the sky. Now it's like maybe 200 feet above above the road, so it's not very high. It looks huge to me, and it's just kind of hard to comprehend with the photo, right? It almost looks like a jet, but it's not a jet. And this person I talked to today, I'm not going to mention her name because maybe she doesn't want to yet, but it. We talked about that. She says, "Have you heard about the difference between the birds and the planes? You know how these things kind of manipulate it, and they can transform themselves into a blade. I mean, a plane or a bird, right? And it looks like that to us, and then it changes form again, and it goes into something else. I mean, yes, I've seen this. I've seen how these things." And it's almost like a distorted image too. But I mean, how do you explain that to other people? Just like when Ryan in the second film, he talks about it and he says, I saw this thing happen to this plane and this orb went over it and then it was gone. The plane was gone. So it almost like either it took the plane or it took the shape of an orb and it took off. He goes, how do I explain that to people without sounding nuts? Right. And that's the kicker right there. And the when we come out here and we're trying out here to do all this research and we're trying to figure out exactly what we're doing. So basically you get your photo, you get your video, you go to these groups, and then they try to analyze it for you. And if they can't, we go to somebody higher, like maybe Ani Ball or Chris Hamill or somebody that's really, really good at these photos and figuring out exactly what we're seeing up in the sky, right? And then they help break these down for us at the same time, right? So after we do that, then we figure out, okay, here you go. You got a genuine UFO. There's an electronic magnetic field around this thing. It's weird. It's just hovering. It's just not doing anything or whatever, right? Even if it's a video, we can do videos, photos, everything like that. But the thing is, what I'm trying to tell you guys is you have the help. The help is out of here. Just reach out to the right people, and we'll help you, and we'll help you figure this out. At the same time, go to your Google, start looking around to see if anybody saw this craft during this time, the same craft, whatever. That way you can kind of break it down just a little bit more, right? Get a little bit more information, times, dates. Always write down your time, your date, everything that happened if you recorded this. If you didn't, try to find out who did and what was their general information because we need that. It's data. You got to have it. Speaking of weird videos, now I'm going to show you this video real quick. It was it came out today. It was a passenger airplane um headed over India, right, over the Indian Ocean. I'm sorry. So it was headed over to the Indian Ocean. Sounds like a little girl and her father. They're looking through the window. They catch this amazing thing. Now watch this real quick.
Dad, move your hand.
What the hell is that thing?
Can you move?
Hold on a second.
Can't see it anymore. Dad, move your hand.
Did y'all see that? It almost looks like a triangular craft with a blue orb at the very tip of it, pointing out of the clouds for the people that are listening to an audio land. This is what it looks like. And then when I saw that, I was like, whoa, whatever that thing was huge. Because as close as it was, and the image that you just saw right now, you saw the massiveness of this thing that was up in the sky. Now, mind you, if you were to see something like that and record it, what would you think right off the bat? What's going to be floating pitch nosed up in the air, standing still, and all it has is one blue blinking light at the very tip of that thing, right? Nothing that you could think of. Of course, as if it's the non-existent TR3B that we're not supposed to have, and that's what we're trying to figure out. Ryan Keaton says it looks massive. Yes, it does. It was huge. Now, as we were talking about earlier, UFOs and ETs, how, something is piloting these UFO craft. Whether it's a humanoid looking or these gray looking beings like you're watching there on that I threw up on screen. That's supposed to be an actual picture of I posted it before, but it's an actual being there at Area 51 walking underground in the tunnels. These things that were walking nonchalant around everybody else. And they said that there was 2 soldiers that walked by them, and these 2 soldiers got a heart attack and died by looking at these things. So, but they kind of work there in a sense, these extraterrestrials. In other words, they work with the government, apparently, right? And this is what we always talk about, that there's a lot of hush-hush, right? Who's piloting these things? We see them over a lot of military bases. Hello. We see them in mountainsides, Area 51 out there, see them in the middle of nowhere. We know volcanoes are a hot spot for these things. We know they love the ocean. I mean, what we talked about before, where's the best place that you would hide in this whole earth? Would be the ocean, right? We've only discovered like 2% of the ocean floor. So that's like not even one little drop inside of your little glass of water. That's one little drop. That's how much we've discovered throughout our lifetime. So we don't know what's under the ocean, right? Why not hide down there? Why not hide in Antarctica when we can't, places we can't go, we can't be? And that's the disclosure part of trying to find out. These people are just coming out and all over the place trying to say, okay, yeah, we've seen these things, we've seen them, but nobody wants to believe. I feel bad for folks like that, that, they try to give out all this information and yet they don't get anything back in return, right? Which is horrible to me. And why that happens, I don't know. And I just wish that it wouldn't happen that way. But, the evidence is clear. It's we as ufologists, we as people, we as us, as independent people, folks out there are trying to get this information out as much as possible to everybody out there. Now, I got one more video to show you. Okay. I'm going to show you one more video. And I believe this was in Russia. Okay. So, somebody pulled over, which is great. This is what I always tell you to do. Please pull over. If you see something like this, pull over on the side of the road. Get over to where it's safe. Step out of your vehicle and record everything. Take pictures. Don't do it from inside of the glass because it just makes it so much harder for all of us, right? To determine exactly what it is. Now, you're going to see this, and it's going to be kind of noisy because all the cars are passing by. You're going to hear all the cars passing by, right? So, but you're going to be able to see exactly what this person recorded. Watch this.
Поставь на паузу. Говори. Больше не перебивай, дурак. Ну ты не его, чисто. Птицы летают, у нас стоит на земле. Приближай, насколько могу, больше не приближай. Не летай, все вперед.
Doesn't that blow your mind? That is crazy. That is crazy. I mean, you can pretty much see it. It's just floating right there. It's not a balloon because it's not going with the wind. It's not doing anything like that. It's just in the same spot. Classic, man. Classic. Yeah, they're saying out there in Facebook, blowing your mind, man. That video itself. Now, people in audio land, it was somebody that was on the side of the road. They pulled over. They see this craft maybe 200 to 300 feet above them, like literally right there. And they're got their camera. They get to zoom in, and they can see this saucer-shaped craft hovering there right over the highway. Now, is it me, or does it seem to you or me that these things are starting to make themselves known in more public places now, daytime, even more now, right? It's you always see the videos now. Now we're getting more daytime photos, videos, and it's starting to be about around more traffic, and that's what I'm starting to notice now. I mean, it seems to have that kind of a change in it, right? Of what it is. Now, what I did was I grabbed a still shot of that video you just saw, and me as a ufologist, because that's what I do. I'm a researcher. So I grabbed the still image and I blew it up on my phone, cropped it till I can get close enough, right? Then I used all my standard iPhone, settings to try to get it as good as possible. Not too dark, not too light, but just enough. And then add some clarity and add texture to it, right? Because I know it's out there, but we're trying to get the right video, right? Or try to get the right analysis. So when I threw it through one of my filters, you can clearly see there's an electronic magnetic field around this craft, right? I want to blow it up a little bit more. Bam. Now, people in audio world, we have a black disc shaped craft in the left, and on the right, what I did was I broke the same image down, and now you see it in a infrared sort of scene, right? To where now you can see a green, almost like a halo around this, which is the electronic magnetic field up in the sky. So I flipped and inverted the image over so you can pretty much see that this thing has energy around it, right? And this is what we do as ufologists. We try to figure these things out. Ryan Keaton says, yeah, they are out there letting more people see them. He says, again, it amazes me how many people don't care. And that is a true statement, man, because when we were out there filming the middle part 2 and we were catching these films, people were just passing by while we were filming right there. And we're catching this craft right there over them. And he's right about that. And people just don't look up, or they just don't care what's up there, right? And I don't know if it's because maybe they just don't want to know. Maybe they're afraid to know what it is, or maybe they just thinking that we are the only ones here in the universe, and that's it. It's a done deal, right? You know, are we looking at swamp gas? Is this swamp gas? Did that look like swamp gas to you guys? You know, that I was showing the video? No, no, man. So, I mean, you can try to put a lot of things around these images and videos, but in reality is that these things exist and we see them and we record them every day. Now, I saw this video the other day, and I'm just going to kind of use this as an example real quick. But if you can, get your cell phones. You guys are watching tonight out here. You're learning. I'm going to learn you something. So you get your cell phones, right? Now, if you got these 3D glasses that you ordered for the solar eclipse or just a standard 3D glasses, like you can order them online, Amazon, wherever. And you know how it's got a blue and a red? So I'm just going to kind of imagine these are them, right? So what you do is you grab the blue and you grab the red, you put them together, right? And then you get your cell phone and you put it right over your lens. And guess what? Guess what you're going to see a little bit better? The swamp gas right there in front of you, right? So yeah, exactly. You're going to see these UFOs a little bit better, man. And that's a little trick that it kind of blew me away too, because I always thought to myself, I talked about it with a friend of mine, Justin Boone, you know, he's part of our group too. And, you know, he says, you know, I could see them with my glasses. But when I take off my glasses, I can't see them. Right. And he tried to show me with his cell phone. And he just said, man, I don't get it. Why is it that I can't see with my eyes, but I can see with my glasses? Well, his glasses were highly polarized, right? They're almost like the ski type of polarized glasses. So he could see these things just kind of going across the sky. But when he says, when I took the glasses off, I couldn't see them. I'll put them on. There you go. So what I just showed you with the 3D lenses, because it's a blue and green, it's going to give you that kind of look to it, right? It's gonna look almost black, right? When you put those two together, but you'll be able to see them a little bit better. I'm talking about do these during the daylight, you know, during the bright daylight when you have a hard time seeing. Get yourself some a welding. If you've got welding goggles, try it with that, you know, and look at the sky. Just see if you can see something strange up there. And these are basically what I'm going to call tricks of the trade. Because if you can do that, then you can do anything, man. You can do anything. You'll be able to, you know, figure out and detect these things for yourselves, right? And it's crazy, but this is the way we put a lot of this disclosure together, all of us, because we work as a team. We use different apps, you know. I use Pixlr. There's another app called V2 Art out there. There's a lot of different apps out there where you can change the colors and everything, where you can see these crap. But just remember the steps that I told you. Zoom these things, crop them in, and you'll be able to do your analysis on a lot of this stuff, right? A lot of this ufology. Now, when I was talking to this other person earlier, it was a really deep conversation, right? And they were talking about, you know, how they can, you know, it's almost like these things are almost talking to them, to that one person. Like on my films, I always put I mean, not that I do, but they said, I have this feeling to go outside and go look up, and there they are, right? So they have this feeling, right? They're telling me the same thing, you know. It's like they're talking to me in a sense, right? Trying to understand the language. They say I can hear them in a sense. It's not audible, but I understand that it's something they're trying to tell me because they're starting to show them a lot of different things. And it might sound strange and it might sound crazy to you, but check it out. So they pointed this out to me today. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the I think it's called the Vonyik manuscript. I'm going to put it up on screen. Vonyik manuscript, right? This was the manuscript that was found in the earliest. I'm already talking like them already. I'm not even there yet. In the early 15th century, right? And they talk about how this book came to be. They don't know who wrote it. They don't know how it came together. Only that one person purchased this book, and it has a lot of these images in it. And it's got language that nobody can interpret. Now, I was reading up on this, and it says it's taking a while for them to try to figure out the language and the code that's in there, but nobody could break this cycle and break this code of the language that it is. And it says it's a handwritten manuscript, unknown script, referred to the von Jenses, the vellum in which it was written and has been carbon dated to be in the earlier 15th century from 1404 to 1438. Analysis has indicated that the manuscript may have been composed during the Italian Renaissance, right? While the authorship or the purpose of the manuscript are still debated. In other words, the hypothesis from the script is a natural language or constructed language, or instead from the code, right? So what I'm going to show you here is these pictures, right, from this manuscript. And the thing is that it's got language in there that nobody can decipher, right? The words on there, the images that are on there. And it just kind of seems strange. It almost looks like regular writing in cursive, but at the same time, nobody is able to decode or break this language. Now, he's even up to 2005 to 2017, they still weren't able to break this language. They use all kinds of cross referencing to codes and coding to try to figure out if this was some kind of text written in a secret language or some sort, right? And the photos I'm showing you on there, it's something that that they even try to code it, but it still didn't make sense. They tried to look at the pictures of the plants on there, the images, and they just couldn't figure out exactly what was going on here or what was it was saying. But it was very strange indeed. The art almost looks like Greek art from the earlier period as well. Of course, the writing looks like somewhere from the 14th, 13th, 12th century. That's what the writing looks like. And it just kind of gets you wondering, right, of what this person was trying to say or trying to do. But after I researched it a little bit. It just said that whoever put this together, they were showing plants, suns, things like that, and in it, people, and it was just trying to understand um, the meaning of it all, right? Almost like life in general. And somebody out there says angel language. Yeah. I mean, it was completely strange to where nobody could make out exactly what it was, and they still can't today, right? We had one guy, he was able to figure out the Sumerian language. Another one was able to break down the Aztec language. But this one, they can't. They can't figure it out, right? And that's the strange part about it. And this is what we were talking about earlier. This other person and I, because it's what when you're trying to understand what these extraterrestrials are trying to tell you, it seems like it's in a different language, right? A different way out there, a different way of thinking, a different things of seeing things in a different way, right? And this is what a lot of people don't understand what's happening to a lot of these folks that are really in tune with these things, right? And a lot of these things do talk to them. Showed me images of things they had written, and it didn't make sense to them until I showed her the writings of Palladians, because I do have the writings of how their writings are, right? And it's just a strange thing that how some of these extraterrestrial beings or crafts show up on top of your house. Once you see it once, you can't unsee them. They're going to be there for a long freaking time. But she showed me these images that she had written, and then when I saw them, I broke them down. I sent the video back to her. I said, "Look, this is the writings that is in this book, and this is what you just wrote." There, she didn't even know what she wrote, and she was just blown away by it, as I was too, because two of the symbols that she did were in that book. A Facebook user says, "Do you know that in ancient times, the regular people were not allowed to read scripture?" I believe it. It was a controlled environment, man. It's almost too controlled. But what I'm trying to say here is that these extraterrestrial beings, they can communicate telepathically even while you're asleep, right? And after a while, things start coming together little by little. That's why I threw out this manuscript, because it's something that nobody understands, right? Until someday somebody will actually put this together, and then you'll be able to understand what they were saying. And it connects to the earth, it connects to the land, because it shows flowers, trees. It has a lot of nature and natural things in that book that I just showed you. But it's in a language that nobody understands, or what it is, or what they're trying to say. And they said maybe this book is from the future. And it was handed down for us to try to figure out later, until we know what it was all about. Yeah, the voice. That's what they say. Facebook user says, "Yep, they wake us up all times of the day and the evening." And these are the things that actually happen to people. And one day we're going to figure this out. And I hope it's in our lifetime at least. But I just think that it's all connected, right? We are all connected somehow, one way or another, with whether it's extraterrestrials, whether it's angelic beings, whether it's anything like that. We're connected. We're supposed to be there at that time. We're supposed to be doing this at this one time, right? So we always hear that saying, "You're here for a reason," right? Maybe that's your reason. I don't know. Nobody knows till you're there. But these things can be, we got to remember there's different kind of extraterrestrial beings out there. They're not all the same. They're all different agendas, different things. Some are here to help. A lot of them are not. And just maybe this is the only way that they can kind of communicate with you through your consciousness or subconsciousness, right? Or when you're asleep. Facebook's user says, I'm still wondering why or how they do that. And to try to talk to you in a sense. But remember, this will not happen to you if you have to be open-minded, man. You have to be. Because you have to be ready, because what's going to happen is that when some things like this happen to you, you're going to be like a funnel, right? When you're pouring, water down a funnel and it's just going down fast, right? Well, you're going to be like the sponge underneath. You're going to be sponging up all of this information and everything that they're trying to tell you for a reason, right? And you're going to have some sort of reason for it. And I just feel that as doing research out here, just remember when you're out there doing research and you're getting a lot of this analysis and you're trying to help all these people, you're actually helping folks out there because you're helping them figure out exactly what they're seeing in the skies. You may not be there psychologically trying to help them, but you're there at least giving them some kind of an answer for what that image is, right? Facebook user says maybe they don't want to frighten us. They use telepathy to communicate with us, and maybe it's for their own safety. I can agree with that. I can agree with that 100%. You just never know exactly what you're going to see or witness out there, right? But I'm glad I brought all this information to you tonight. Thank you guys for sticking around and listening to me ramble a little bit. I hope you guys get some kind of information on it. Now, if you guys want to go to your WikiLeaks or Google the Vanik manuscript, however you say it. I'm kind of bad with German words and stuff like that, but go check that out. Go check that out. Go read up on it, and you're just gonna freak on it on all the images that are on there. I mean, it took this person to open my eyes today to see exactly what that was, and then to put this podcast together. I just put it up together because something went off in my head. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I got to tell folks about this. And that's what we try to do here. Facebook user says, thanks, Donald Desmond. We appreciate all your information. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate all you guys. It's been my pleasure to give you this information. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. Please like and subscribe. Go to our YouTube channel. Go to all of our channels out there. Go to our audio. Please catch us on audio and, share it out there, man. Hope you guys had some really nice holidays. Your Merry Christmas. And I know New Year's just coming. You guys be safe out there, all right? Stay home, man. Drink a beer. Don't go out there in the street because it's too dangerous out there, man. Stay home. Like Mama used to say, stay home. Stay home. I'm staying home. I ain't going anywhere. I don't think so. So, we got the little ones here, the little puppy now. Now we got these dogs, and they're gonna be freaking out. And oh my God, how your dogs, keep them inside when this thing's going off. They're gonna be throwing fireworks. Your dogs have, poor things. You got to get them some CBD. That works. This is not sponsored by any kind of CBD. Okay. So anyway, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night. Happy New Year. See you later.
This is ASTP ufologist Terry Ledge from Oregon. You're watching the Mothership Alien Strand Podcast with your host, Donald Ledesma.